Good afternoon. My name is Bob Listenby. I'm D.A. Krasner's first assistant. Thank you for joining us here today. We're here today to talk about crash homicides. Crash homicides are a serious problem in our city. We're here to just emphasize the fact that the DA's office is committed to justice and fairness for the victims and co-survivors of crash homicides. We're here to talk about a specific case today. Before I begin about the specific case itself, please allow me to recognize and acknowledge people who are here. From the DA's office, we have Bob Wainwright, who is the supervisor of our Homicide Non-Fatal Shootings Unit, Ms. Marielle Dela Cruz, director of our Victim Services Unit. We have Ms. Nicole Hall, who is also from our Victim Services Unit, the Victim Witness Coordinator. In addition, we have family members who are here. The family representatives are Mr. William Bill Lindsay, Ms. Monica Lindsay, these are the parents, and Ms. Emma Lindsay, who is the sister. The attorney who handled this case is Lauren Crump, who did an excellent job. She's one of our really excellent young attorneys. She's not able to be here today because she's still in court. On Sunday, July 12, 2020, at approximately 8:37 p.m., a 32-year-old named William Will Lindsay III was riding his bike on a designated shoulder at 3801 Ridge Avenue when he was struck by a fleeing vehicle. Mr. Lindsay was transported to Temple Hospital by medics and subsequently perished. We're going to hear more about the details of the case itself, the trial itself, and also the sentencing on the case from Mr. Bob Wainwright, who is again the chief of our Homicide Non-Fatal Shootings Unit. Bob?
Thank you. As First Assistant Listenby just said, this was a jury trial that was tried by ADA Lauren Crump, who would be here today, except that she's currently handling a different case in court right at this very moment. But this was a jury trial tried the week of December 9th of 2024 in front of the Honorable Giovanni Campbell, and the sentencing for the case just occurred recently on February 13th. As First Assistant Listenby just said, the victim in this case was a 32-year-old young man named Will Lindsay, who was on his bicycle at the time on a designated shoulder at 3801 Ridge Avenue. This happened on July 12th of 2020 at 8:37 p.m. The victim was riding his bike on the designated shoulder as he was allowed to do. Mr. Lindsay was struck by a vehicle, and you have a photo of the vehicle right here. So this is a Chevy Camaro with a distinctive red stripe down the front of the hood. And Mr. Lindsay was transported to Temple Hospital, where he was subsequently pronounced. Video surveillance in this case was recovered from the area, which showed this Chevy Camaro that you see here with a red stripe down the front. Detectives were able to follow the path of travel of the vehicle using pole cameras, video surveillance, and as well as 2 PPA speeding violation citations. These were obtained from cameras that had been put into place only 1 month prior to this incident. So this is actual evidence that helps solve this case that wouldn't have even existed a month prior to the killing. So the vehicle was observed traveling at an extremely high rate of speed. A patrol alert bulletin was prepared for the vehicle, and the vehicle was located 5 days later by an off-duty police officer. It was outside of a car repair shop. That was a car repair shop, I-95 Collisions in Northeast Philly. Forensic testing was done on the vehicle, and it was ultimately determined that the decedent's DNA, Will Lindsay's DNA, was found on fibers of clothing recovered from the front windshield of this vehicle. Additionally, it was determined that the owner of the vehicle was a man named Hakeem Brown. Video surveillance was recovered from the car shop, and it was found that Hakeem Brown dropped off the vehicle to the auto body shop the day after the incident. And after discussions with Mr. Brown, members of AID, what was then AID and is now CID, Crash Investigation Division of the Philadelphia Police Department, they learned that at the time of the incident, his girlfriend, Brown's girlfriend, Renisha Hackley, was driving the vehicle. The story that he gave, that Brown gave, was inconsistent with the video evidence. However, fingerprints of Ms. Hackley were recovered from inside of the vehicle. Once her name was provided, detectives were able to get Renisha Hackley's cell phone records, and using CDR analysis, it was determined that she, the defendant, was in the area of Ridge Avenue at the time of the incident, and that her phone followed a path of travel to the address of Mr. Brown's home after the incident. Additionally, cell phone records determined that at the time of the collision, Ms. Hackley and Mr. Brown were actually on the phone with each other and remained on the phone with each other. That phone call lasted for 28 minutes. So this trial that was done at the end of 2024 in front of Judge Campbell, Ms. Hackley was convicted on all counts, including accidents involving death, homicide by vehicle, involuntary manslaughter, tampering with evidence, and conspiracy to tamper by a jury. She was sentenced by Judge Campbell just a few weeks ago on February 13th to 7.5 to 15 years. She also went to trial with her co-conspirator, Mr. Brown, who helped cover up, or try to cover up, her role in what had happened. And Mr. Brown was convicted of tampering with evidence and conspiracy to tampering, and he was sentenced by Judge Campbell to 1 to 2 years. So I'm going to turn it back over to First Assistant Listenby.
Thank you very much, Bob. Now we'll hear from family members. Mr. Bill Lindsay, the father, Miss Monica Lindsay, the mother, and Miss Emma Lindsay, the sister. Following the family, there will be Miss Nicole Brunet, who is from the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia, who will step to the podium and make some comments as well.
Sorry. You first? Go ahead. Ladies first.
My name's Monica Lindsay. I'm the mother of William Lindsay, who, at the age of 32, has lost his life to a vehicle here in Philadelphia. He was the light of our family. He was employed by Wuxi Aptech in the Navy Yard here in Philadelphia. He would use his bike as a means of transportation to eliminate the amount of cars that are on the road. He had a passion for many things, and bicycling was one of his passions. He, too, has taught us how to ride the bike within the city, and that was probably our last opportunity to ride with our son, Will.
Okay. I'm Bill Lindsay, Will's father, and first I wanted to make sure I gave a thank you to Officer Grawl. He was the gentleman who noticed the car at the chop shop that struck and killed my son. So thanks to him. And then I also want to thank the CID of the Philadelphia Police Force, Captain Mark Overwise, Sergeant Middleton, Officer Soto, and Sergeant Detro, with all their help over the years, since it's been over 4 years now. Without their help, none of this came about. So thanks to the Philadelphia Police for their hard work. And I just want to say, it's, from our perspective, it's so unfortunate about the lack of empathy and compassion shown if anyone gets struck, whether it's a pedestrian or a bicyclist. And it's a sad state of affairs, but we are grateful that this case came about. So thank you very much.
We will now hear from Ms. Nicole Brunet from the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia. Ms. Brunet.
Hello, my name is Nicole Brunet. I'm the policy director with the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia. As well, I work with the Greater Philadelphia chapter of Families for Safe Streets, a group comprised of family members who are family members of victims of traffic violence. We have been advocating for several tools that enforce dangerous driving behavior, including speeding, as well advocate for different technology to reduce the number of hit and runs. Since 2020, when Will Lindsay was hit, there have been a huge amount of fatal hit and run crashes. A majority of pedestrian and bicyclist deaths are a result of hit and runs. In this case, two really important pieces of evidence that resulted in the final sentencing was the speed cameras. Like the ADA said, the speed cameras on the boulevard had been online for about under a month in the warning period phase. This was, really important to show where the driver was going after the crash. And so, we're very grateful that this technology was there, but it needs to be in more places. It's incredibly important to be able to reduce harmful speeding and driving throughout our city. Another thing we've been advocating for is this program called J Alert, named after Jayana Powell, who was killed at 63rd and Lansdowne in 2016, in a similar case where the driver left the scene and got his car fixed up at an auto body shop in Chester County, claiming that he hit a deer. This legislation would create a notification system to go out to auto body shops, informing them of fatal hit and run crashes, to look out for vehicles that match the make and model of the car. In this case, we're lucky that a police officer noticed the vehicle. Otherwise, we may not be standing here. So we really look to our state legislators to pass this bill so we can start to find more hit-and-run drivers and hopefully see a reduction in those severe crashes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Brunet. Again, this case was tried by Ms. Lauren Crump, who is, again, an excellent attorney in our homicide non-fatal shootings unit, but she's in court and not available today. In addition, we have Ms. Nicole Hall, Victim Witness Coordinator, who's back here to my left, who's been working on the case since the very beginning. We greatly appreciate all the support our staff has provided the family in this matter. At this point in time, we're going to go to questions and answers, or questions at least. Let's start with 3 CBS, Alan Wheeler and Aziza Schuler.
No questions.
No questions, all right. Mr. Ian Doherty from 6 ABC.
No questions.
Ms. Isabel Sanchez from 10 Telemundo. No questions. Okay, very good. And Mr. David Palmer from 10 NBC. Okay, all right, thank you. No questions? All right. Thank you very much for coming today and reporting on this important matter. Thank you.